The huge upset to open the year, knocking down Florida State 24-21 in Dublin on that last-second field goal. Georgia Tech's first win over a top 10 opponent since they beat Florida State in October of 2015. And so the Seminoles have now already equaled their entire loss total from a year ago. But this is Paul Finebaum into the conversation on that. And Sir Paul, I think it's an interesting way of reminding. I was watching in the postgame. It was a good job, I thought, Trevor Manich and Sam Acho did explaining that this is just a new world. A year ago, you and I on this day would have been talking about, well, say goodbye to Florida State. Paul, that's no longer the case.
No, I mean, they're not in great shape, but the hyperbole is going to have to pause for a few minutes because, Greeny, one loss does not end your season. It's a conference loss, and I think that's the most important thing because in the new world, the ACC champion would end up getting a bid to the playoffs. So that puts them in a problematic situation. I think really ultimately where Florida State is in trouble is their schedule. They have Notre Dame later. Yeah. That plays for the at-large bid. They also have Miami, a number of other key games, so including Clemson. So they're in trouble, and you know their fans will not be able to sue their way into the playoffs this year like they tried last year.
Dan, that was well played. That was the big question that I had, was a Florida State team that had every reason in the world, and I know that like half the roster turned over, but that had every reason in the world to want to come out week one, or in this case week 0, and show everybody, see, you were dead wrong about us. I thought they were going to come out and win this game by 50 points. What did you make of the fact that they got beat the way they did?
Yeah, a lot of credit goes to Georgia Tech and their head coach, Brent Key. I mean, they just outplayed Florida State really in the most important part of the game, which was line of scrimmage and downfield. And I think a big part of this, Greeny, is, if we're being honest, one quarterback has really developed into a quarterback. Haynes King started at A&M, now at Georgia Tech, and DJ just hasn't taken that next step in developing as a quarterback. Still a really talented thrower that we saw at Clemson, and there was moments at Oregon State last year where you started to see it. But that was the real difference in the game for me at the quarterback position. One kid has really just gone on this trajectory and journey of developing as a quarterback. And DJ, still a really talented thrower of the football, hasn't really consistently developed as a quarterback. And to Paul's point, the schedule's a concern, but also the performance at that position has got to be in that conversation as well.
That was a very entertaining start to the season, one way or the other. I wanted to also get a perspective from you guys on this huge story out of Colorado, and I saw so much written about it while I was away. A Denver Post columnist, Sean Keeler, has been banned by Colorado football from asking questions of Deion Sanders. A university media relations staffer told the newspaper it took issue with Keeler's references to Sanders as, quote, deposition Deion, the Bruce Lee of BS, and a false prophet, and his use of phrases such as Planet Prime, the Deion Kool-Aid, and the circus. So the reporter, in this case the columnist, has taken a lot of shots at Deion Sanders and the program. This is the statement from the university. After a series of sustained personal attacks on the football program and specifically on Coach Prime, the athletic department, in conjunction with the football program, have decided not to take questions from columnist Sean Keeler at football-related events. Meanwhile, Deion then had this exchange with another member of the media on Saturday.
If I ask a negative question, will you not answer them anymore?
That's being negative right now. Like, you take an approach that I'm going to be negative. I'm not negative to anybody in here. I will challenge you and ask you why or where is this coming from. So I'm not built like that. I'm not built to hate. I'm not a hateful guy. I come with love. I think if anybody in here has had encounters with me, I don't come with the bull junk. I come with the peace and the joy. Now, when you show me where you stand, I might have to change that a little bit, so I'm not going to match your ignorance.
So that exchange on Saturday, it is worth pointing out that Deion has unique language in his contract that says he is required to speak only with, quote, mutually agreed upon media. I happened to be in Colorado while I was on my vacation, so there was a lot of conversation about this. Paul, what was your reaction to it all?
Coach Prime is showing he is not ready for prime time, Greeny. I find this whole thing to be disgraceful. Dion may want to talk about love and joy, and that's been the cornerstone of what he seems to be spewing out. But treating reporters like this seems like we're in some autocratic country. This is not America, and the fact that it's in his contract is really even more absurd. But don't forget, he did this at Jackson State. This is a trait of Deion Sanders. He wants to have it his way, and I find him to be a bully and a hypocrite. And quite frankly, as someone who has been a fan of his throughout his entire career, even at Colorado, I am mortified by his actions.
Dan Orlovsky and Shefty wants to get in, and D Wood wants to get in, and I'm worried about time. There's a part of me that wants to say, let's hold this over and continue the conversation. Ash, can we do that? Let's take a quick break. Everyone wants to get in on this, and I think it is worth making sure we have the time. So